Right, so match day 2 of the Europa Conference League phase. Not to get too carried away, but beating arguably one of the better teams in the competition 4-1 with a B team, which included Kieran Dewsbury Hall, has made me optimistic, should we say at least, about this competition. Panathinikos away next though. Potentially a more difficult fixture? No, it won't be, will it? When this draw was made, I'd heard of a grand total of one of their players, who has subsequently died. So going into this, I'm expecting nothing other than Nkunku stat padding session and João Felix nutmegs for 90 minutes. Let's go. Catch a stupidly early flight from Gatwick the day before the game. Enjoy a scenic flight through sunrise before meeting my dad at Athens airport and jumping in a taxi to the Airbnb, which he had entrusted me to book this time. There's fewer anxiety-inducing experiences than looking out of the taxi window on holiday and seeing the surrounding area look shitter and shitter the closer you get to your destination. We may have flown into Greece, but we got out the taxi on the west bank of Gaza, where the taxi drivers told us to be careful in this area before driving off, leaving my dad looking at me with that for fuck's sake Rory face that I've become so accustomed to. After dropping our stuff off and I unzipped my travel trousers, we decided to try and see the nice parts of Athens. In order to get to the nice parts of Athens, we had to pass through the not so nice parts of a Call of Duty map, complete with smackhead zombies walking around. Genuinely, what a fucking shithole. You can really tell this place hasn't had any money since 2008. It's like an inverse of Manchester City. I know I'm being a snob, but seriously, a lick of paint not from an aerosol can will go a long way in this place. The Acropolis is 2,500 years old and is somehow looking like one of the best kept and modern buildings in this city. We do eventually reach the nice area, or the nicer area, to be completely fair, passing through tat shops selling hooky football shirts and unsettling sportsman bobbleheads, as well as this spooky looking cafe, which, despite being covered in Halloween decor, was still significantly less scary than the surrounding area of our Airbnb. Spend the afternoon and the evening on the beers and having some more than decent food before attempting to find someone with a Champions League on. En route, we get to our first sight of the Chelsea, who are displaying their staunch loyalist Glasgow Rangers fetish by drinking at an Irish pub. Chelsea fans to an Irish pub is like Robert Sanchez passes to the other team. They always find each other eventually. Find a much nicer bar opposite the Chelsea-infested one and watch Barca batter Bayern, while drinking a lager out of a Guinness glass, which is quickly becoming a symbol of Conference League trips. Woke up the next day and finished editing the Servette away vlog. Yeah, that's how long these things take. While having a breakfast of oregano-flavoured crisps, which were outrageously good. Our apartment is nice in all fairness, modern, refurbished, all that good stuff. The concern, however, is just how much security we had to pass to reach it. There was a spiked security gate before a double door to unlock on entering the building. Then, once through and up the stairway with several smashed windows, you reach the door of our apartment, which I can only assume the owner purchased from Gringotts, as there's as many locks and bolts on that thing as Chelsea have registered first-team players. We get out of the apartment around midday to go collect our tickets, where we pass some pretty nice-looking buildings and some Greek soldiers doing a march that looks a little bit like Paul Pogba's penalty run-up. Find the hotel with the ticket collection point, where, once again, we are given a woke printout for a ticket. This shit needs cutting out. You're not going to give us proper tickets. How about this, Chelsea? You just treat us like responsible adults and email us our tickets when we buy them, rather than having to go collect them. I promise I won't push any black people off trains. We've learnt our lesson, I promise. Once our tickets are collected, we go meet my dad's mates at a bar for some beers. It quickly emerges this is where we'd be plotted for the hours leading up to the game. We killed time by discussing what Chelsea was like when we were shit, consuming some fairly mediocre Italian food, and asking which of our accommodation was in the most crackhead-infested part of Athens. The afternoon passed us by and it was time to get into the ground, where, after navigating the underground system, we get on a graffiti-covered metro. The metro takes about an hour to get to the Olympic Park. I thought I'd missed the West Ham away this year, but apparently not, as it took ages to walk around the Olympic Park and get to the away end. Unlike at the London Stadium, however, the ground looks fantastic and I really wish my shit phone could have done it justice. Make it through the security at the away end. We're given a cardboard sign to hold up in tribute to George Bulldog, which clearly isn't explained to everyone. Get to our seats and the Panathinikos Ultras are already getting excited with flares and flags in the area behind the opposite goal. The teams walk out to the iconic Europa League music before we get to use those cars during the George Bulldog minute silence, which, to our credit, Chelsea fans maintained impeccably. The game gets going and we are so ridiculously better than them it's a little bit embarrassing. The Panathinikos fans are clearly up for it, with the Ultra section and the end behind the closest goal to us chanting back and forth for each other. While the stadium did look incredible, and with the running track about as Conference League-y as you can get, I do wish we had played them at their normal ground. Can't help but think the atmosphere would have carried itself a bit more there. After 20 minutes of utter Chelsea domination, Felix flicks the ball wide out to Mudryk, who enters the area, plays a cute ball through back to Felix, pushes the ball home and we're 1-0 up. It was hardly limbs in the away end, given the majority of the end were already sat down and disinterested by the stage. However, as an unashamed João Felix stan, I was loving watching my boy ball. The rest of the half is spent watching us embarrass a team we should never have been playing in the first place, without even really trying. The Europa aesthetics is heightened by some little shit in the home end flashing his laser pen at both us and the pitch. However, my terrible camera couldn't really pick that up. Half-time comes and goes without much fuss. We start the second half in complete control, which very quickly results in Neto breezing past the Panathinikos fullback, crossing it to the back post for Mudryk to shank a header into the empty net. Before we'd even had the chance to sit back down and look at our phones again, Mudryk links up with Felix, whose deflected shot makes it 3-0, and we're starting to feel a little bit embarrassed for even celebrating at this point. And by the time Nkunku overcame the little shit's laser pen to score yet another stat padding penalty, it felt like the ref should just call the game off there. The rest of this game is a mediocre and drunken blur. Panathinikos scored at one point. However, the away end was far more concerned about making aeroplanes out of the Sam Bulldog signs than worrying about how bad Axel Disasi actually is. The ref eventually puts the Greeks out of their misery, and we are unbeaten in what is probably the most winnable competition we've ever competed in. We kept back for a while after the game, however we are thoroughly entertained by another little Greek shit trying to take on the entire away end, and, in fairness, showing more game and bottle than 90% of the Ralph Cut wearing Danny Dyer shaggers that pollute our ends. As much as I try and take the piss out of this competition, it definitely serves a purpose. We've actually not had it super easy in recent years, and the chance to go watch a fun, exciting team tear European minnows apart on the continent should be enjoyed while we have the chance. It's all just a game at the end of the day though, isn't it?